Hello Uganda and beyond. Welcome to UBC Lunchtime News on this 30th day of the last month. This is the last day of April and it's the last day of the month. And we are going for UBC Lunchtime News. And to our first story, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has emphasized the need to developed nations to support Africa's growth and development while officiating at the International Day of Education celebrations at Kololo Independence Grounds. Now, President Museveni stated that the global affluence should benefit everyone. We have the details.
UNESCO and European Union and the others. It's good that they support Africa to come out and catch up with the rest of the world. I don't know the planners in Western Europe. I think they are bad planners. They don't know how to plan well, because I don't know why they like to have parts of the world remain backward when only some parts are the ones which are affluent. For a long time, I was trying to get investors to invest in that iron ore to create a steel industry. But I couldn't get investors. I was being told, that there is a glut, what they call a glut, G-L-U-T. There is too much steel, that the price is so low. At that time, apparently, the price of steel had gone down to $200 per ton. And why was this? It was because prosperity in the world was only in Western Europe, North America, and Japan. They were the ones having an affluent life, with good houses, with driving cars, which need steel. And that's why they were saying that there was too much steel in the world. There was a glut. But in a very short time, when China took off and started developing very fast, and India took off, and even Africa to some extent, the demand for steel went up. The demand for steel went from $200 per ton at one time to $900 per ton. And that's why now my problem is no longer to attract companies to convert our obtare. Iron ore in our language is called obtare. We have got more words than the English. The English don't have enough words. Say iron ore. No. Obtare. When you hear obtare, that means iron ore. Now I have got a big problem selecting which company to work with to develop the steel industry of Uganda. Why? Because of the wider prosperity. Whether the Chinese are communists or not, and whether they are Russians, I don't know what they are, but they all need steel. And it's good for me, for Uganda, it's good for Africa. The demand of copper has gone up because they need wires for electricity and so on. So therefore, it's good that our partners, and I would like to discuss more with their leaders, support global prosperity. If all the 8.5 billion people of the world had a GDP per capita of $20,000, how big would the world economy be? You can calculate it. And everybody would gain.
Returnees who once served in the United States Army across Afghanistan, Iran and other conflict zones have come together under the Jambo Purin Warriors Association for Climate Change. Now, during their annual general meeting, the veterans reaffirmed their commitment to leveraging the knowledge and resilience gained from operating in the arid and semi-arid war environments to address the global climate crisis. We have the details.
War veterans and guards who once served under the United States Army in Afghanistan, Iraq, Somalia and many others under the Jambo Purin Warriors Association have launched efforts to mobilize fellow veterans to combat climate change.
Being that the countries we worked in were desert formed, they had another climate other than ours, because they are half deserts, some were full deserts, depending on the regions where you are deployed. So it has helped members here back home to see how we can conserve, see how we can protect our environment by keeping it in a normal green reservation.
Iraq wakolanga ng'otambula n'akacupa ne bweba kilomita namba naye nga tosasudde okuleka okutuuka ku Trascan n'okasuulayo. Tube nga tukuuma omuddo obulungi, emiti, okulabirira ekibuga nga kiyonjo n'amuntu yenna okuba nga naye akyegomba. Nga ffe bwe twegomba ensi y'Abawarabu ng'ate yali ya ddungu.
The association seeks to foster unity and brotherhood, offering a platform for mutual support in both good and difficult times.
It so happened that we got incidences where we started hearing our members falling down, falling dead, our members falling sick, and we were not aware. So happened that members would get issues, members would get financially off the ground, and you find that they really need help. And help to come within, you have to be a family. You have to come together and get that help from other people you have been with. Because back then, we are a family as we served together with the US forces.
Beyond environmental initiatives, they are also encouraging members to engage in income generating and development activities.
Sente tojja zigobanga nsenene. Olina kukola nkole osobola zikuŋŋaanya zibe nga zigira. Mbawa ekyokulabirako nti mukole emyaka nga gikyali. Enviiri enzirugavu ze zikolerere enjeru.
Jambo, what we have to do, the message I can give them is to save, because I have seen they have a formed circle already, is to save. The more they save, the more they get money. If they keep saving, they will get money, and that money will help them to change their businesses. That money will help them to boost their businesses and get more profit.
The association has called on all former servicemen and women to join hands in community development efforts.
Now to our next story. The woman member of parliament for Kagadi district, Mbabazi Jennifer Chomohendo, has urged young girls to cultivate patience, remain committed, and seize every opportunity as essential pillar for future success. Now, Chomohendo made this call during a grand reunion and commissioning of a new hall at Chinoni Girls Secondary School in Rampara, an event that brought together leaders, alumni, and students. We have the details.
The families you come from do not matter for your future.
The woman member of parliament for Kagadi district, Mbabazi Jennifer Chomohendo, has emphasized that determination is essential in shaping one's future and encouraged students to make the most of their present opportunities. She urged young girls to embrace patience, stay committed, and seize every opportunity as key pillar for future success.
Don't hold yourself back. Believe in your potential and watch it unfold. You will make it. As our motto says, together we can make it. United we stand, divided we fall.
She was speaking at the grand reunion and commissioning of a new hall at Chinoni Girls Secondary School in Rampara District, an event that united leaders, alumni and students.
I'll take a bold step. Mobilized my own funds. I renovated the library and the computer room without any help. Hasa nienda kwebaza OGs and the stakeholders.
We build the nation and we do great things. So I have said that even when you pick one thing, you add it to one thing, it becomes a bundle. And when it becomes a bundle, it is hard to break.
The head teacher, Miss Grace Ndagire Tweheyo, praised Emeritus Bishop Elisha Chamugambi for his leadership in mobilizing resources for the hall's construction, noting that the school remains debt-free.
We pull the resources together for everyone's benefit, so we don't have debts. We are moving on well. We also got a prize from our college diocese for effective use of resources. We have a saying, okay?
The Executive Secretary of the East African Kiswahili Commission, Dr. Caroline Asimwe, urged students to value teamwork in their learning.
We have really seen the great work that is being done at Chinoni Girls, and we don't take it for granted. We thank you very much, and we thank God for using you.
The event concluded with a renewed commitment to advancing Chinoni Girls Secondary School's growth.
To need better solutions. That is very key. That you improve on problem solving. When you are united, you do big. And when you
Thank you, Sudat Kaye, for that report. Now, let's talk labor, since tomorrow is International Labor Day. Now, Uganda will tomorrow join the rest of the world in celebrating International Labor Day, a moment to honor and recognize the contributions of workers across the globe. Now, the national celebrations will be held in Nakapiribiti district, located in Karamoja sub-region, with President Yoweri Museveni expected to preside over the event. Now, while addressing the media ahead of the celebrations, the Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, Betty Amongi, raised concerns over the poor working conditions faced by many Ugandans. She cited issues such as low pay, unfair contract terminations, lack of formal employment contracts, and denial of terminal benefits. We have the details.
Terms with no protection related to social security, health care, fair wages, health insurance, and decent allowance. That's why when you are moving, sometimes around these industrial parks, you see a big number of Ugandans walking. That shows you that the amount of money they earn from these jobs is not sufficient for them to have money for transport, money for housing, money for all sorts of things. The other challenge is that most employees are working without written contracts. I don't know, you seated here, how many of you have written contracts? You all have, eh? So, I'm sure there are many examples seated here that most of you do not have written contracts, which should outline the terms and conditions of employment. Majority of workers are employed based on verbal contracts. Some are based on commission. Some are based on allowances. And so this makes it difficult when disputes arises. If, for example, you get an accident, you've come to cover the minister, it's official work, and you are going back to your office, you get an accident. Then you go to your workers and say, you are not a permanent staff, so you are not entitled to ABCD. So that scenario, we get a lot of challenges when workers get injured or dies or have health challenges. We also have the issue of inadequate safety and health environment at workplace. A lot of workplaces, they're supposed to put simple things like fire extinguisher, like where hazardous materials are disposed of, where the equipments are given to you, the personal protective gears. These ones, in most workplaces, is not being done. And termination, where many employers arbitrarily are dismissed, terminated, and then you go to seek redress. You do not have sufficient money to seek redress. So a number of people are getting into such difficulties of unfair termination. We also have employers who stop employees from collectively bargaining. Under the Labor Act, you are supposed to be allowed to form your unions in your workplace and discuss terms and conditions of your work and collectively bargain for wages, rise of wages, promotion, and so on, safety at workplace. But most employers are not allowing people to do that. There's also low pay, where you find you are working very hard, but you are not being paid well, and you are not being provided what is sufficient. So
now, that is the Minister, Betty Amongi, with labor issues there. Now to our next story. Uganda is advancing boldly in its energy transition with the official opening of the 10th Energy Convention 2025 in Kampala, now held at Serena Hotel under the theme Integrating Oil, Gas and Renewable Energy for Sustainable Future. The two-day event convenes key stakeholders across the energy spectrum. Now, the convention is organized by the Uganda Chamber of Energy and Minerals in partnership with the Ministry of Energy and global stakeholders. We have the details.
State for Energy and Mineral Development, Okasai Sidronius Opolot, has stressed integration, not division of oil, gas and renewables to foster sustainable growth. With 2,000 megawatts generation capacity, but only 28% electricity access, Uganda aims for universal coverage by 2030 and 52,000 megawatts by 2040. Uganda Chamber of Energy and Minerals CEO Humphrey Asimwe emphasized regional cooperation and innovation as key pillars of growth.
Because we believe that as a country, we cannot develop without energy. Secondly, as a country, we cannot develop until all Ugandans come out of energy poverty. In Africa, it is estimated that 900 million Africans live in energy poverty. They do not have an electricity connection. They don't have the luxury of being able to turn on the lights, do homework at night, and do all those kinds of things. We want to turn that narrative around.
The chairman, Uganda Chamber of Energy and Minerals, Agri Ashaba, reiterated Uganda's balanced energy transition strategy, leveraging oil revenues to scale renewables, while calling for accelerated implementation of key projects.
Discussions happening here today are around how do we make sure that the grid can reach everyone? How do we make sure that renewable energy is part and parcel of Uganda's energy mix in terms of solar, wind, and all the other cleaner sources of energy? How is oil and gas supporting this whole process? But most importantly for business people, this conference is here to be able to offer all the opportunities that exist for business people. Whether you're in hospitality, or you're in logistics, or you're in engineering and construction, or you're in banking and finance, or you're in insurance, whatever sector you're in, there are opportunities in oil and gas, there are opportunities in electricity, opportunities in the renewables, and this is the place where you get to network, to get to connect into those opportunities.
With over 15,000 jobs created and 41% of contracts awarded to Ugandan firms, the sector is showing inclusive progress. This year's convention reflects Uganda Chamber of Energy and Minerals' expanded mandate following its rebrand from the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum. The agenda includes youth-led innovations, sustainability panels, gender inclusion, and digital energy solutions.
The civil works that have to be in place before the other two project components are set up. In terms of the first package under enabling infrastructure, that is site, industrial area site preparation, we are done with that. That is a milestone that we can all be very proud of.
We want to see community suppliers involved in specialist and technical work. Why can't I have my quality control contractor, for example, from Bulisa? That is the ambition, that is the vision we have.
The convention closes with site visits to oil fields in the Albertine Graben, solidifying its role as Uganda's premier platform for policy feedback and investor engagement. Sudat Kaye and Deo Habimana, UBC News.
Now from energy conversion, we got straight to consumer protection. Now, the National Water and Sewage Corporation has launched a customer protection unit aimed at safeguarding the rights and interests of its customers. Now, National Water and Sewage Corporation Managing Director Dr. Engineer Silva Mugisha says that the initiative is part of the corporation's ongoing commitment to enhancing service delivery, strengthening stakeholder engagement, and enforcing a policy of zero tolerance to corruption in its operations. We have the details.
The National Water and Sewage Corporation has established a customer protection unit as part of its commitment to improving service delivery, strengthening stakeholder engagement, and upholding a policy of zero tolerance to corruption in our operations. We have many incidences of impersonation out there. Somebody coming before we install the meter, meters are not there in the stores. If you need a meter, give me something. Give me something. If you have a leakage, somebody says before I repair, you know, even the plumbers are not there, but if you give me something, I will do it for you very fast. That is something National Water does not do. National Water does not tolerate that. The money for National Water goes through banks, goes through the normal mobile money channel. We don't have a system where money is supposed to be paid by cash to a person. If that is to happen, maybe in those rural places, there would be a proper arrangement established with the area management team. But especially here in Kampala, there is no reason why anybody should ask you for money and you give it. Money of the corporation, especially causing scarcity. There is no this. In order for me to help you, you can help with this. There are no materials for new connections. Unless you give something, that's when we can help you. We have heard it is happening out there, but we don't like it. And that's the reason why we have introduced this customer protection unit. It has come to our attention that some unscrupulous individuals have been extorting money from customers in exchange of services, engaging in acts of vandalism of national water infrastructure, engaging or abetting illegal use, also illegal use. People there are illegally connected, and that is causing a problem to us. To tackle these issues, the corporation has introduced 2 confidential hotlines for the public to report any cases of bribery, vandalism of NWC infrastructure, or water theft. These are hotlines. The numbers are 0788 161 568. That's one of the numbers. The other one is 0788 70 5891. 91. All these are MTN numbers, Mahmoud, isn't it? They are all MTN.
Now, straight to Ruhaama. Ruhaama East constituency in Ntungamo district has witnessed tremendous improvements over the past 20 years, significantly contributing to the economic development of the youth. Now, according to the locals, much of this progress is credited to the First Lady, Janet Kataha Museveni, who during her tenure as the area legislator focused on youth-centered projects such as farming and, most importantly, championed mindset change. Now, the commendation to the First Lady was made during a youth dialogue organized by Advan Mbabazi at Kitwe Town Council. Now, Mbabazi, who has expressed interest in contesting for the parliamentary seat, is advocating for continued support towards solar energy initiatives and the improvement of poor road infrastructure to enhance trade in the area. We have the details.
What I can say, I would like to thank our mama. What I can say, I would like to thank our mama.
UBC Lunchtime News. Viewers, UBC Lunchtime News takes a short break and we do return back with business.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Special announcement from the Baseline Education Census 2025. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and Sports, is conducting the Baseline Education Census 2025. This exercise will cover all learning institutions in the country for both government and private establishments, namely pre-primary, primary, secondary, vocational, and higher institutions of learning. The Baseline Education Census exercise data collection is being conducted in a phased manner, starting with Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area, comprising of districts of Kampala, Mukono, and Wakiso. The rollout to all other regions will commence at the beginning of second term. The Baseline Education Census collects information on learners, teachers, and school facilities to facilitate planning and policy decisions in the education sector. Uganda Bureau of Statistics appeals to the general public, heads of schools and institutions, as well as the local government authorities to cooperate with the BEC enumerators. In a special way, UBOS appeals to all parents of the learners to support the exercise by availing learners with their correct date of birth, National Identification Number, and Learner's Identification Number. For more information, please call 0772 933 628 or 0743 787 189 from Dr. Chris Mukiza, Executive Director.
Okero. Hey, Kajambo. Mukasa. Where are you going with the family? Oh no. We are on our way to the polling station. The Electoral Commission is displaying the National Voters Register. And I need to make sure my name is on it. And Sophie here wants to confirm her voter details. We are all warming up for elections. Okay? What about these young men? I can see you. These ones are no longer boys. They are now men. Last election, they were too young to vote. But now, they are ready to vote. Mukasa, you have really inspired me. Now let me also go home and pick my wife so that we can check the details in the register. Okay. See you on the polling station.
The National Voters Register will be displayed at your polling station from 25th April to 15th May 2025. Please do not miss this chance to confirm your polling station and your voter details. Report the dead for removal from the register and those who appear more than once. Every vote matters. This message is brought to you by the Electoral Commission of Uganda.
Ladies and gentlemen, here comes Peter, full speed, light turns red, and he's gone through. Oh, wow!
The Uganda Police introduces the Automated Express Penalty System, EPS Auto, powered by ITMS. Fair, fast, final, and always watching. Don't argue with the road, just check, pay, move on with the UPF Mobi app. ITMS, safe roads, safe nation.
Big thing about the MTN Super. Wali yakapia musite wali yakapia. MTN kabo the Super mustairompia. Then you kabo the smartphone nebi yakabibiona. MTN kabo the Super mustairompia. Then you kabo the smartphone nebi yakabibiona.
Get the new Kabode Super smartphone and enjoy 16 GB free. Start with a deposit of only 45,000 Uganda shillings and pay the rest mpora in daily installments of less than 1K. You can also make weekly and monthly installments. Together, our vibes are unstoppable. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN.
MTN is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
We used to run, but most of the time we were running away from something. But nowadays, everything seems different. People still run, but they are running towards something. They run to test their limits, to break new records. And when we do it right, we inspire others.
The inaugural Coffee Marathon, uplifting rural coffee women, 24th May at Africa Coffee Park, Ntungamo.
Come, let us run.
To register, dial *217 *413 #. Choose option 4. Or scan the event QR code or visit the website to choose the race options. Brought to you by Inspire Africa Group.
Welcome back from that short break. Now, UBC Lunchtime News continues with business. And the Electricity Regulatory Authority has drafted new reforms under the installation permit regulations aimed at modernizing Uganda's electrical installation permit framework. Now, the reforms come amid concerns over power installation insufficiencies that have led to fire accidents. We have more in this report.
The drafted installation permit regulations 2025 are part of ERA's broader strategy to enhance safety, improve compliance, and align with modern industry standards in Uganda's electricity sector.
We have various regulations that govern the operation of the electricity supply industry. But specifically when it comes to responsiveness, we have the quality of service regulations. These regulations enlist the timelines the licensee should take to respond to the different types of problems.
The new system will introduce specialized permit classes tailored to different scopes of work, making it easier to match technical competencies with specific job requirements.
We certify with the certificate X and Z for special services, but also Class A, which allows them to work at all voltage levels, and Class B, which allows them to work at 33 kV and below.
Unlike the current one-year system, contractors will have the option to apply for permits valid for either 1 year or 3 years.
So just like you see a driving permit, you can opt to pay for 3 years or 5 years. So if you want to have the permit extend for 3 years, you pay more. We are basically just getting that cost, and you pay times 3. And if you're saying for me, I'm just going to work for this 1 year, and then next year I'm going to be somewhere else, or I'm going to be engaged in something else, then you pay for 1 year.
Class C permits will be subdivided into C1 for domestic and industrial installations and C2 for domestic and commercial installations, authorizing work up to 6.6 kilovolts.
C1 will be for domestic and industrial installation works of up to 6.6 kV, and the minimum qualification will still be the same, national certificate and a minimum of 2 years experience. 2 years of experience. And Class C2 will be for domestic and commercial electrical installation works of low voltage below 1 kV.
Company directors will be required to hold technical qualifications, ensuring that firms in the electrical sector are managed by technically competent individuals who understand safety and regulatory demands, not solely business professionals.
We have very many people who are just businessmen. They come, they start up a company, they go and hire you, and they put you in their company. You have no say. This is the man, this businessman is the owner of the company. And we have realized that there are very many challenges. When we find works that have poorly done, then we call the permit holder, and the permit holder said, I'm not even aware that works were done, and that the company I'm representing is the one that is doing it. So now we want liability to actually be taken by a permit holder.
ERA has committed to strengthening inspections to ensure compliance with technical standards, use of certified materials, and thorough testing before handing over completed works to clients. Cayenne Faith, Nanono Smaya for UBC.
Let's go international. The US President Donald Trump marked the 100th day of his second term with a rally in Michigan, where he highlighted his administration's achievements and took aim at political opponents. Now speaking near Detroit, he praised a drop in illegal border crossings and emphasized recent deportation efforts. He also claimed car manufacturers were planning new plants in the state, and they signaled a softer stance on auto tariffs after concerns from the industry. We have the details.
I could have left it that way, and at some point there would have been an implosion like nobody's ever seen. But I said, no, we have to fix it. I've wanted to do this for many years. You know, I had the best economy during my first term. We had a tremendous economy, tremendous success. And we did tremendous numbers of tariffs on, we took in a lot of money from tariffs, China in particular, hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. We had no inflation, as you know. We had an incredible economy. We're given credit for a great economy. But I said, we have to fix this, otherwise it's just not self-sustaining.
Well, one of the things you ran on was you'd said you'd bring prices down on day one, and that it would happen fast, and that it would happen fast.
I have.
Most economists will tell you that tariffs will raise prices. So don't your tariffs cut against that promise you made to bring prices down?
No, because I had massive tariffs on China, if you remember, in my first term, and we had essentially no inflation, like around 1% inflation, which is like a perfect number. And then when Biden took over, it went through the roof. It went to probably the worst inflation we've ever had. I mean, we had an inflation nightmare. Now, if you look at what's happening now, we're only there for 100 days, as you say. And in 100 days, we took over. We had bad inflation for 4 years, for 2 years especially 2 years of his administration. I would say record-setting like we've never seen. They say 48 years, the worst in 48 years. I say it was much worse than that. Yeah. Right. So now if you look at what's happened, energy is down. Gasoline hit $1.98 in a few states.
Now let's go sports. Vipers Sports Club has extended their lead at the top of the 2024-2025 Uganda Premier League to 8 points as the season enters its final stretch. Now a hard-fought 1-0 victory over the resilient UPDF side was enough to secure yet another routine win at the St. Mary's Stadium. We have the details.
Kalisa, Yunus Sentamu, denied by Anyama. Kalisa to try and get one for the... and opens up perfectly and majestically well. The attack is on. It's Mulongo. Kalisa trying to peel. It's Kalisa. Can he strike? No, Anyama does it again. He has come to play today, Anyama. Oh, this was the chance. Kalisa just failing to nick it in.
Now, viewers, thank you so much for watching UBC Lunchtime News. Now, I am Brian Tumwine Biaruhanga. Until we meet again, thank you and God bless Uganda.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
My name is Damalisani and I welcome you to this episode of the Ideation Corner. The Ideation Corner is a space where ideas are discussed and dissected. And today I host Stephen Obeli Someday, who is the CEO and the co-founder of Kwelido Shop, and he's going to tell us all about it. Stephen, you're very welcome.
Thanks, Damali. It's been a long time since I wanted to be at the Ideation Corner, and I'm happy that I'm finally here.
Well, I'm glad. You were telling me that you've been following it for a while now.
Yeah, I think about 2 years. It's good I'm finally here.
Yeah, happy to have you. So tell us about Kwelido Shop.
So Kwelido Shop is a place that is called genuine. In some languages, Kweli means real. In other languages, it's like a question, like really?
Like Kweli. Yeah.
Exactly that. So Kweli.shop primarily does two things. We make genuine appliances and electronics conveniently accessible to households and businesses across Uganda. Our hope is that we'll be able to scale this across Africa. The other thing that Kweli.shop does is to make genuine appliance repairs and installations conveniently accessible to households and businesses across Uganda as well. So basically that is what Kweli.shop is.
So why did you decide to start Kweli.shop? What got you to this point?
Kweli.shop started out of a personal need. So I was at I had been through a low moment in my life. I had lost everything that I had from a previous business failure. So I get back to my brother's house, and after recovering, and I want to again get out and re-establish myself, I needed appliances and furnishing